Hello my dear geographers, I hope you all are well and fine. So once again welcome back to your geography class, and in this class I am going to teach you class 11 chapter number 5 endogenous processes and the associated landforms. I hope you will enjoy this video, and again after this session, after this video, I am going to put some interesting questions that is really so important for your exam. And I have decided to divide this chapter into many parts, and today I am going to discuss this part number 1, and under this part I am going to discuss the definition of endogenic processes and the broad classification of this. So without any further delay, let's move on to the topic. So you all know about the landforms. What are they? Like the mountains, plateaus, plains. All of the landforms are nothing but the general structures that are developed on the surface of the earth by the help of natural processes. Why natural? Because man generally cannot develop certain type of landforms. And the examples of landforms are mountains, plateaus, lakes, and so on. Now, these landforms are generally originated or generated on the surface of the earth by the help of two important forces. What are the forces? Number one, it is endogenic force or endogenous force, and number two, that is exogenic force or exogenous force. Now, by these two terms, we can easily understand what is endo and what is exo. Endo means always inside the earth. Okay, and exo means outside the earth. So the processes that are generated in the interior part of the earth's surface, that is known as endogenic force. By the help of this force, what are the general landforms that developed on the surface of the earth? Yes, you are right. They are mountains, they are plateaus, they are the plains, lakes, etc. So endogenic force, this is really so important for the development of the landforms on the surface of the earth. Okay, and what are the basic function of exogenic force? Exo means always they will act on the out of the surface of the earth, right? Out of the surface of the earth means the landforms, when they will be developed on these landforms, the exogenic force will start working, and then they will reshape the landforms. So this is the basic difference between endogenic and exogenic force. Endogenic force means the landforms will be developed by this force, and exogenic force will only reshape the land. They will erode the land, okay, and they will transport the materials. So I hope the differentiation is clear. Now let's look into some important examples of endogenic forces in India. Now in India, especially the Mahabalipuram temple, I think you all have heard this name. Now it is standing in the sea. So due to the endogenic forces, the landform, it has raised up, and then it has formed into the Mahabalipuram temple. Next is, now there is a submergence of a forest in the Mumbai harbor. So see here, the upliftment and submergence, both of this, they are taken place by the help of these endogenic processes. As I told you, the movement will take place by the process, by the effect of endogenic processes. Like here, the submergence and the upliftment, both of this have been taken place by the help of this endogenic processes. So examples are done, the differentiation is done. Now the next topic is the classification of these endogenic forces. So if you will broadly classify these endogenic processes, then you will get that this is generally classified into two broad terms. Number one, it is diastrophism, and number two, it is sudden forces. Now sudden forces means we already know that suddenly when this force will start working, and diastrophism means when the rate of the force will be really so slow. Okay, so that is known as diastrophism. Now sudden forces, what is this sudden force? Like just if I will give you the examples of volcanic eruption, earthquake. So generally this type of activity, they are really sudden. Suddenly they take place. Suddenly they take place. That's why we cannot identify or we cannot predict this type of activities beforehand. We cannot say that yes, this is the day when the earthquake will take place. This is the day when the volcanic eruption will take place. So this is known as sudden forces. The forces that will act on the surface of the earth suddenly. Okay. Now next is the diastrophism. Now what is the meaning of this? When the forces, they will start working at a very slow rate, then this is known as diastrophism. Now one small reminder is here. This diastrophism, that means the slow movement and the sudden forces or the sudden movement, both of these are the effect of this endogenetic forces. Now this diastrophism, as I told you, diastrophism is the slow movement. The entire process will take place in a very slow rate. And this diastrophism is further divided into two parts. Number one, it is epirogenic force. Number two, it is orogenic force. Now what is epirogenic? This word has been derived from a Greek word epiros. Epiros means the continent. Basically, the forces that are the responsible factor for the development of the continents are known as these epirogenic forces. So basically, continents are made up or they are formed by the help of epirogenic force. And this epirogenic force always act at a vertical angle. Okay, or vertically they act. So here, one important information, epirogenic force will act vertically on the surface of the earth. Okay, and here the upliftment and the submergence will take place. Either the land will be uplifted or they will be submerged. So here vertically the movement is taken place. Next one is orogenesis or orogenic. It is also derived from a Greek word, that is oros. The meaning of this is mountain. So the process or the forces that generally responsible for the development of mountains known as orogenesis force or orogenic force. So here the force will act horizontally. So it is completely different from epirogenic force. Epirogenic force generally acts vertically and orogenic force generally acts horizontally. Okay. Now this orogenic force, it is also divided into two parts. What are they? Number one is compression and number two is tension. Compression means when you are just pressing one object from both the sides, what will happen? The middle portion will be uplifted. That is known as compression. Fold or folding, it is one example of this compression. Okay, so many fold mountains you can see on the surface of the earth like Himalaya and Andes and so on. They all have been developed by the help of orogenesis process. Now the next one is, I told you, tension. Tension means a object when you are just pulling this object from both the sides. What will happen? At a certain point, there will be some cracks. Okay. So the faulting. Faulting means this tension. Tension and faulting, both of these are same. See here, if we are just like pulling the land from both the sides, then what will happen? In the middle, the crack will be found. So this is the example of tension force. So again, in a brief, I want to tell you the whole thing. Endogenic force is divided into two parts, basically diastrophism and sudden force. Diastrophism is divided into two parts. Number one is epirogenic, number two is orogenic. So epirogenic force, it is also divided into two parts. One is uplift, another is submergence. And this orogenous process, it is also divided into two parts. Number one, it is compression, and number two, it is tension. So I hope the entire topic, the entire classification is more or less clear to you all. Now please try to attempt the questions. I hope you will enjoy this. So in the next video, we will discuss this folding and faulting. Till then, thank you and take care.